Well, folks, it seems even the Kennedys of the North aren't immune to the fickle winds of political fortune. The political landscape in Canada has been shaken to its core. That's right, Justin Trudeau, Canada's poster boy for progressive politics and impeccably styled hair, has announced his resignation as Prime Minister. This unexpected move has left many Canadians and political analysts in a state of shock and disbelief. After nearly a decade at the helm, Trudeau's decision sent shockwaves through the Canadian political landscape, leaving many wondering, what in the maple syrup-flavored hell just happened? The news has dominated headlines and sparked countless debates across the nation. Now let's be clear, this wasn't exactly a bolt from the blue. There had been whispers and rumors circulating for months, hinting at Trudeau's possible departure. Trudeau's approval ratings have been on a steady decline for a while now, plagued by scandals and a general sense that the Trudeau magic had, well, faded. From the SNC-Lavalin affair to the WE charity controversy, his tenure has been marred by several high-profile scandals. But still, the timing of his departure, just weeks after a general election that saw his Liberal Party cling to power, left even the most seasoned political pundits scratching their heads. It was a narrow victory, and many expected Trudeau to stay on and fight the good fight. It seems the pressure cooker of leadership had finally gotten to Trudeau, who, in his resignation speech, spoke of the heavy toll that the job had taken on him and his family. He appeared visibly emotional, reflecting on the sacrifices made over the years. He insisted that this was a personal decision, a chance to spend more time with his loved ones and, presumably, finally perfect that sourdough bread recipe he's been working on. The personal touch in his speech resonated with many, adding a human element to the political drama. But let's be honest, folks, in politics, timing is everything, and Trudeau's exit suggests that there's more to this story than meets the eye. The political climate in Canada has been turbulent, and his resignation adds another layer of complexity. Could it be that the once charismatic leader saw the writing on the wall, sensing that his party was headed for a bruising defeat in the next election? The political landscape is ever-changing, and Trudeau might have decided to bow out before things got worse. Or perhaps, just perhaps, he was tired of being compared to a certain orange-hued former world leader who shall remain nameless, but whose name rhymes with from. The constant comparisons and political jabs might have taken their toll. Whatever the reason, one thing's for sure, Trudeau's departure has left a gaping hole in Canadian politics, and the race to fill it is about to get very interesting. The coming months will be crucial as Canada navigates this new political landscape, and all eyes will be on who steps up to take the reins. Before we dive into the political fallout of Trudeau's resignation, let's take a quick trip down memory lane, shall we? It's been a roller coaster ride, filled with both high points and significant challenges. Justin Trudeau, son of former Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau, burst onto the scene in 2015, promising real change and a more optimistic, inclusive Canada. His campaign was filled with hope and a vision for a better future, and for a while it seemed like he could do no wrong. His charisma and youthful energy captivated the nation and the world. He legalized cannabis, apologized for past injustices against Indigenous communities, and championed progressive policies on climate change and immigration. These actions were seen as bold and necessary steps towards a more just society. He was young, he was handsome, he wore colorful socks, he was the anti-Trump, and the world fell head over heels in love. His international presence was strong, and he became a symbol of progressive leadership. But alas, all good things must come to an end, and Trudeau's second term was marred by scandals, missteps, and a growing perception that he was more style than substance. The honeymoon period was over, and reality began to set in. There was the SNC-Lavalin affair, where he was accused of interfering in a criminal prosecution, which shook the public's trust in his leadership. The blackface photos that surfaced during the 2019 election campaign, causing widespread outrage and disappointment, and the constant accusations of hypocrisy from his political opponents. These controversies painted a picture of a leader who was out of touch with the very values he espoused. Despite these challenges, Trudeau managed to hold on to power, albeit with a minority government, in the 2021 election. It was a testament to his resilience and the loyalty of his core supporters. But the shine had definitely worn off, and his approval ratings continued to slide. The public's patience was wearing thin, the economy was struggling, inflation was soaring, and Canadians were feeling the pinch. Everyday life was becoming more challenging for many. So while Trudeau's legacy will undoubtedly be a mixed bag, one thing's for sure, he left an indelible mark on Canadian politics. His tenure will be remembered for both its groundbreaking achievements and its notable controversies. Now you might be thinking, John, what does any of this have to do with that tangerine-tinted Twitter troll we try so hard to forget? Well, buckle up, folks, because this is where things get really interesting. No sooner had Trudeau announced his resignation than the Donald himself took to his favorite social media platform, Truth Social, to offer his, shall we say, unique perspective on the situation. In a rambling, error-ridden post, Trump claimed that Trudeau's departure was a direct result of his own tough trade policies, which he claimed had exposed the weakness of the Canadian economy. He went on to suggest that many Canadians were fed up with Trudeau's leadership and were now longing to join the United States as the 51st state. Yes, folks, you heard that right. The man who once suggested injecting bleach as a cure for COVID-19 and claimed that windmills cause cancer now believes that Canada, our friendly neighbor to the north, is just itching to become part of the American experiment. Now, it's important to note that Trump provided absolutely no evidence to support this claim, which, let's be honest, is about as surprising as a bear relieving itself in the woods. But that didn't stop his loyal followers from lapping it up, flooding social media with hashtags like #CanadaWantsIn and #51STStateOrBust. So what exactly is behind Trump's bizarre obsession with annexing Canada? It's a question that has left many scratching their heads, trying to decipher the motivations behind such an outlandish idea. Well, like most things Trumpian, it seems to be a toxic cocktail of ego, ignorance, and a healthy dose of good old-fashioned delusion. His actions and statements often blur the lines between reality and fantasy, leaving us to wonder where one ends and the other begins. For starters, Trump has a long history of viewing Canada through an economic lens, seeing it as a land of untapped potential and resources that could be exploited for America's gain. He sees the country as little more than a piggy bank to be raided for America's benefit, a simplistic and reductionist view that ignores the complexities of international relations. He's repeatedly attacked Canada's dairy industry, accusing it of unfair practices and using it as a scapegoat for broader economic issues. Trump has also slapped tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum, actions that have strained the relationship between the two countries and sparked debates on trade policies. He has accused Canada of ripping off the United States on trade, perpetuating a narrative of victimhood that resonates with his base but lacks nuance and factual basis. In Trump's zero-sum worldview, any gain for Canada is a loss for the United States. This black-and-white thinking oversimplifies the intricate web of global economics and diplomacy. He seems to genuinely believe that absorbing Canada into the American fold would be a major economic victory for his beloved country, a belief that is as misguided as it is grandiose. Never mind the fact that Canada has its own thriving economy, one that is deeply integrated with but distinct from that of the United States. Its own unique culture and identity, which Canadians are fiercely proud of and unlikely to relinquish without a fight. And, oh yeah, its own democratically elected government, which operates independently of American influence and has its own set of priorities and policies. But Trump's interest in Canada goes beyond mere economics. There's a deeper, more personal element at play here. There's also an undeniable element of ego at play here. For Trump, the idea of annexing Canada is not just about economic gain, it's about leaving a legacy, making a mark on history. Remember, this is a man who craves attention like a Kardashian craves a paparazzi lens. His need for the spotlight drives many of his more outrageous statements and actions, and what better way to get the world talking than by floating the outlandish idea of redrawing the map of North America? It's a move designed to shock and awe, to keep him at the center of global discourse. Of course, Trump's suggestion is about as likely to happen as him winning a Nobel Peace Prize. The logistical, political, and ethical hurdles are insurmountable. But that doesn't mean we should just dismiss it as the ravings of a madman. His ideas, no matter how far-fetched, have a way of capturing the public's imagination and shifting the Overton window. After all, Trump has a knack for taking the absurd and making it mainstream. His influence on public discourse is undeniable, and his ability to rally support for even the most outlandish ideas is a testament to his political acumen. And in these increasingly polarized and unpredictable times, who knows what the future holds? The line between the possible and the impossible is becoming ever more blurred.